Could the Las Vegas Raiders make a trade for Bears linebacker Tremaine Edmunds? My name is Mitchell Renz. You're watching the Raiders Report, and coming up here on today's show, I'm going to tell you whether or not I believe the Silver and Black should and will make a deal for Tremaine Edmunds. Also, some must-see Raiders rumors around the defensive side of the football and some linebacker targets that Klint Kubiak and this organization could not only target in free agency, but also target in the 2026 NFL Draft. So if you did not see the news that happened a few days ago, the Chicago Bears gave Tremaine Edmunds permission to seek a trade, which is something that we spoke about here on the Raiders Report. According to ESPN NFL insider Jeremy Fowler, the Raiders are interested in making a move for Edmunds. And also according to Fowler, Tremaine Edmunds has strong trade value this offseason as it stands right now. If you didn't see the exact quote from Fowler, well, luckily for you, we got it right here. One player who has strong trade value and a decent chance to be dealt is Bears linebacker Tremaine Edmunds. The Titans, Raiders, Giants are among teams interested in the high-end linebackers, and they like Edmunds, who's only 27 despite 8 years in the league. He was granted permission to seek a trade earlier this week. Now, I want to be very clear. I could absolutely 100% see a Raiders and Bears trade ended up going down, and one of the top reasons why I do think that this brand new Raiders regime is interested in Edmunds, of all the Bears and Raiders rumors that are circulating. I mean, at the NFL Combine, a lot of the conversations that I had when I heard Bears, it did revolve Max Crosby. Now, again, I don't know whether or not Max Crosby is going to be dealt. That's not the reason why I'm here today, though. The reason why I know for a fact, I'm telling y'all this, the Raiders and Bears are having trade conversations. Maybe it's Javon Dexter. Maybe it's Tremaine Edmunds. Maybe it's DJ Moore. But if there is one thing that I am 100% certain, that the Raiders and Chicago are having trade conversations now, yesterday, this morning, and they've been going on for a long, long time. Let's go to another reason here why I think that the Raiders could make this move. There is a clear need at the linebacker position for the Silver and Black. With Devin White, Landon Roberts, and Jamal Adams, your top three linebackers from last season all hitting the open market, there's a lot of change that's happening. And also, because it was announced that the Raiders are going to go to that 3-4 defense, I tried to do my best to show you guys what this depth chart could potentially look like. And it's literally impossible because the Raiders players from last season don't fit a 3-4 defense literally at all. So I had to throw in Malcolm Kuntz here because he probably would be the other outside linebacker into the mix here. But, like, if we're talking free agents, that's another player that the Raiders have to figure out a way to replace. So then when you discuss that new 3-4 defense that Rob Leonard's going to be implementing, and this news really happened, I want to say it was like Tuesday or Wednesday during the NFL Combine last week. And for the Silver and Black, not only did you have a major need at linebacker if you were planning on running a 4-3 defense, but you also have now an even bigger team need if you're planning on putting 4 linebackers out there. Now, sure, you could still see the Raiders put some edges like a Boye Mafe. Maybe you could see a Jalen Phillips that could be that edge outside linebacker prospect. But overall, the Raiders and Bears are having conversations. The Raiders have a big-time need at the linebacker position, and now that you're going 3-4, it puts a bigger emphasis on that position specifically. And then on top of that, you're building for the future. Yes, Edmunds has been in the league for 8 years, but I can remember the very first year I covered the NFL draft. That was the year he ended up getting drafted. And yes, he's 27 years old. He's about to be 28. But for the Silver and Black, if you're able to add a linebacker at 28 years old, that's 28, 29, 30. 3 really good seasons is what I would imagine you would be hoping for if this trade ended up going down. And the numbers, 112 tackles, a lot of tackling production. I talked to our Bears host, Harrison Graham, about what he thought Tremaine Edmunds looked like last season, and he told me that before the hamstring injury, Edmunds was unbelievable and very, very much better than maybe what some of the numbers like PFF would indicate to you. He did try to come back and play on that hammy and was not nearly as close to the production as what he did before that injury happened. So obviously you want to get the healthiest version, but Tremaine Edmunds is an extremely interesting piece because he's got a lot of NFL experience, and on top of that, he is only 27 now, will be 28 years old when the season starts. So the big reason why I wanted y'all to click on today's show is I wanted to talk about Tremaine Edmunds a little bit more because of the rumors that we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. But what should the Raiders do? Should they go out and should they trade for Tremaine Edmunds? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Please let me know down below your thoughts. My answer is going to be coming up here after this YouTube ad break. The reason why I'm going to type my T for trade is because I also have had conversations with people that cover the Chicago Bears. I've had conversations that originally I wasn't 100% sold on the idea of the Raiders going out and getting Edmunds, but 27 years old right now, and I do think he would be a great fit in a 3-4 defense. Not going to cost you a lot. Only going to be a late day 3 pick. And sometimes we only talk about free agency. We only talk about the draft. If this new look Raiders defense thinks like, man, we need multiple linebackers to help us become starters, like you could trade for Tremaine Edmunds. That also then allows you to look at linebackers in the draft, look at linebackers in free agency instead of drafting 2 linebackers or signing 2 guys. If you're the Raiders and you're going, we need 3 more LBs, which I think is the absolute minimum that this organization needs, maybe trading for a guy helps you open up that door here a little bit. So what I decided to do is I talked to our guy, Harrison Graham. He covers the Chicago Bears. And I said, what exactly do you think it's going to take to get it done? He said at the high end, a 5th-round pick. But he believed that a 6th-round pick would be enough to get it done. So for the Silver and Black, you got 2 6. You got pick 181, and you got pick 184. How about this? I'll offer you an early pick in the top of the 6th round at 184. That way the Raiders still get to hold on to pick 181. And sure, we lose a pick, but you're not going to be able to find a Tremaine Edmunds style of player in the 6th round that is still, I mean, you can make the argument about to enter the prime of his career. So when you look at this deal, 28-year-old, 9+ seasons in the NFL, 8 years, about to be 9. I think that this deal makes a lot of sense for Chicago. I also think that this deal makes a lot of sense for the Raiders. Now, some of you might be going, well, why would they want to move on from Edmunds? It has to do with the money, and he's looking for a brand new deal. He's on the final year of his contract. So a lot of times when guys are on that final year, they're looking for that extension. If you're the Raiders and you go out and you trade for Tremaine Edmunds, I'm telling you right now, expect them to give him a 2-year extension. And according to Harrison Graham, he said that he would probably get somewhere in that 2-year, $25 million deal. Because he's got 1 year left on his contract, and the way that it ends up working out for the Raiders, if they trade for Edmunds, technically it's 1 year at right around $15 million because 13.9 is your base, and then there's $1 million in bonuses, and then there's a workout bonus for $100,000. It's about $15 million. So if you're looking at giving him that 2-year extension worth $25 million, that new contract is going to look something like 3 years, $40 million at $13.3 million per year. My best guesstimate would be those first 2 years would be fully guaranteed in 2026 and 2027, but this probably would allow you to lower your cap hit a little bit for this season, and the cap keeps going up and up and up every single year. So you're getting a young, when I say young, 27, 28-year-old linebacker with tons of experience that fits your 3-4 very, very well. And the other reason, I know I've mentioned it a few times today, but trading for Tremaine Edmunds allows the Raiders to potentially sign a linebacker in free agency, to also draft a linebacker as well. Because if you're going to wait around and you want to sign 2 linebackers or you want to draft 2 linebackers, I think the Raiders know deep down, because hell, when I asked John Spytek at the Combine, I'm like, what's your biggest team need? And he's like, he joked, he laughed at me, and he's like, I'm not going to tell you that. And I go, offense or defense? And he said there's a lot of holes. If you know that you're a team and you got a lot of holes on both sides of the football, I do think that this is a way that you can try to fill a lot more of those holes instead of just focusing on the draft or just focusing on free agency. Coming up next here on the show, though, we got some must-see Raiders rumors, and I apologize if I got the sniffles. I feel like every time I travel, I get a little bit sick. But you know what? You know what I'm definitely sick and tired of? I'm sick and tired of people, when they look at me, they think I'm just some average Joe Schmo. I learned a new word today at the Chat Sports office, and mogging apparently is a word, and apparently I am a mogger, and I didn't know what the heck that meant, and I think it's because I got awesome drip from GLD. And if anybody out there is looking to get some awesome drip from our sponsor, make sure that you use code CHAT for this insane offer of 50% off, because they got quality pieces built to last that don't break the bank. And before GLD, there really weren't high-quality, affordable options, but now they deliver on every price point. Every stone is meticulously hand set. GLD's proprietary production process is quality and shine on another tier. 50,000 five-star reviews, over 2 million customers, and GLD stands by the quality of their jewelry. Every piece comes with a lifetime warranty, so it's literally built to last the rest of your life. Can't think of a better gift to give than, I don't know, if you're looking to give a gift, I do think that GLD hooking you guys up with this chain, like maybe you're looking for Father's Day is right around the corner. You're thinking about getting something for a special someone in your life, you can make sure you get something like that. Work hard, change the game, and for a limited time only, new customers are getting an insane deal. Use code CHAT to get 50% off at GLD.com. That's 50% off with code CHAT at GLD.com. After your purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support the Raiders Report. Please tell them that we sent you. Again, whether you're looking for some NCAA, some MLB, they got all sorts of different chains. Hell, if you're just looking to rock the chain that I got on right here, you can get your hands on this bad boy. That link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. Major shout out to GLD hooking up Raider Nation. All right, so let's get into these must-see Raiders rumors. And the rumors that I want to discuss today are also around the linebacker position, because according to Fowler, the Raiders are interested in, quote, high-end linebackers. We know that there's a clear need at that position. We know that they are switching to a 3-4 defense. So when a lot of these rumors started popping up, again, it's right around Tuesday, Wednesday, when I was at the NFL Combine last weekend, and it shouldn't shock any fan out there. And I say that because, again, we knew we had a big need at linebacker. Now I feel like that need at linebacker goes up even more if we're about to run a 3-4, because you need edges and you need linebackers. We don't really have either of those options as it stands right now. And if you've already heard me talk about Tremaine Edmunds, shout out to you. I greatly appreciate it. But if you haven't, this is why I want you to hit that subscribe button. You guys get free videos every single day here on the Raiders Report. Live weekly shows every Tuesday, every Friday. I can already guarantee you I'm going to be live. When breaking news happens, I'm going to cover it. I'm going to be live for NFL free agency. I'm going to be live for the NFL draft. And if you're looking to subscribe to a guy that's shaking hands with Fernando Mendoza, I've met Fernando Mendoza at the Super Bowl. And you know what? I also got to meet him at the NFL Combine. Outstanding human being. Coming up next here on the show, Raiders free agent linebacker targets. And the way that I'm going to do this is because, again, if we're talking about Tremaine Edmunds, there's a need at linebacker. And if we're interested in Tremaine Edmunds, as Fowler reported, there's also an interest in linebackers. But when you run a 3-4, you can't just look at the linebacker position, in my personal opinion. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to give you three names that are more of like edge, outside linebackers that are going to be able to fit in our system. And then I'm also going to give you three names in terms of your more conventional weak side, middle linebacker, your Mike linebackers in a 3-4 defense. I'll also admit, you've heard a lot of these names before on this show. I've done multiple videos around some of these top Raiders free agent targets, and Rob Leonard, who was the Raiders defensive line coach last season, he's going to put a major emphasis on making sure that we win in the trenches and to make sure that we're able to get after the quarterback. So I would say my top three outside linebacker edge rushers to put with a 3-4. I'm going to put number 3 here is Jalen Phillips. Number 2 is Boye Mafe. And then number 1, Odafe Owe. I don't anticipate any of these players to get franchise tagged. At the time that I'm recording this video is Monday, March 2nd. Maybe Odafe Owe, but again, I personally do not see that happening. Phillips, no chance. Boye Mafe, no chance. Owe is really the only one. But Owe does have a lot of really interesting connections with some of our coaches, especially like a Rob Leonard from their time in Baltimore. But then let's look at the Raiders free agent targets at a more conventional linebacker standpoint. Quay Walker's a middle linebacker. Doesn't do a lot in your coverage game, but he is a really good run stopper. Nakobe Dean, sideline to sideline. I like his ability a lot. I actually think that he would be the second best linebacker that this Raiders organization could sign based on need, based on fit. And then number one, the biggest name, it's Devin Lloyd. Because we have so many different moving parts at this position, I don't know if I expect Devin Lloyd to be a signing by the Raiders because of all the holes that we have. But if you wanted to go out and trade for a Tremaine Edmunds, I think if you're able to add him to Kobe Dean, I think it's a really, really interesting middle linebacker, weak side linebacker duo. And then you just got to go out and get your edges. And if you want to spend money on edges in free agency, it's definitely not the worst idea. So this question got brought up multiple times last week at the Combine. I even saw my guy Marshall Green ended up tweeting it out, and I thought to myself, I think it's actually a really good question. What should happen first? Should the NFL draft happen before free agency, or should things stay the way that they are, where you have the NFL Combine, then it's free agency, and then the draft is in May, or draft is in April? My answer is going to be coming up here after this YouTube ad break. Personally, I think that the draft should happen first. I like the idea of you doing the Combine. You get to go out there. You get to meet some of these players. I will admit also, the Combine is starting to become less and less important to me. I am very, very strong on this mindset. Invite people to the Combine that are going to participate in the Combine. It's a major, it's a great opportunity for players to really showcase what they're going to do. And I get it. It's supposed to be the best players out there. But if guys aren't going to test, then, just say, hey, here's the invite, but let's go out and let's invite somebody else. But I do think the idea of you drafting players and then going out and signing makes way more sense than free agency and then the draft. No matter what, though, I'm happy that the NFL is 365 days. That I can guarantee you. Coming up next here on the show, let's look at some prospects that the Raiders could potentially look at to draft. Now, you're not going to see Sony Styles. Sorry, the only way you're getting him is if you draft him in the top 5, which means you're going to be trading away from Mando Mendoza. The 5 linebackers that I'm going to show you are guys that I believe right away could step into this Raiders defense. They could start right away, and they are right on the teeter of probably getting picked in the round 2 at 36, and then probably round 3, pick number 67. Because, again, if Fowler is going to report that there is a big need and a big want at that linebacker position, here to me are the 5 linebackers that I believe that the Raiders should target on day 2, round 2, and in round 3. I'm not targeting a linebacker in round 1 because obviously we have the number 1 overall pick. So Jacob Rodriguez absolutely crushed the Combine. He was one of my biggest winners. I talked about him actually in the video that I dropped today. Deonta Lawson, also from Alabama, was somebody that I really enjoyed. Jake Golday, hopefully I pronounced that right, from Cincinnati. His stock fell a little bit. I think he's still going to go in the top 50-ish players, but a really good overall prospect. Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas. And then there's a big tier gap for me. C.J. Allen is a prospect that I absolutely love. Was one of the big-time team captains there on that Georgia defense. And if you're the Raiders, you get Tremaine Edmunds, you draft a C.J. Allen, that middle of that defense is really, really ferocious, man. So in conclusion, I could absolutely see the Raiders making a move for Bears linebacker Tremaine Edmunds. I also think that the Raiders could add a linebacker via trade, via free agency, and the draft, especially now that you're going to that 3-4 defense, because this team needed to pay attention to its linebacker core. Now with this move to 3-4, you got to pay even more attention to edge and linebacker. And with the reporting of Jeremy Fowler and the conversation that Fowler and I had at the Combine, I know for a fact that the Raiders and Bears are in conversations. Could be about DJ Moore. Could be about Gervon Dexter. Could be about Tremaine Edmunds. Could be about Max Crosby. But I do really, really believe all the things around linebackers is 100% true because the Raiders desperately need linebacker talent this offseason.